Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weird and wonderful world. And I'm keeping the lights kind of muted. I only have the one light on me, and of course, these lights in the back with the red, white, and blue to represent either law enforcement or America, either or. But yeah, this video, okay, and I want a disclaimer at the beginning here that I am not opposed to law enforcement whatsoever. I think good policing is, works and is better is a service that is very, required and necessary in this world. But 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 there is a limit to how much they can well, okay, let me just put it this way. I am sort of addicted to watching selective videos on YouTube of auditors. I find that not just entertaining, but eye opening and just kind of and I'll explain the the optimistic outlook that I'm seeing from all this, okay? There is an optimistic point of view that I do have on this that I think yeah, okay. Now I'm not going to show them all at once. I'm going to go one at a time. The top one here is the most important one that I watched. We'll start with Long Island Audit, and as I explain each one as we go along, you'll see what I'm talking about when I say that I don't I promote good police. I want to see the end of bad cops abusing their power and hurting people, like physically hurting people. And there's so much, yeah, yeah. It's like I love seeing what they call the walk of shame, where where the police officer is trying to force their ego and force their and try to you know to to step on people's rights and kind of and yeah, basically breaking the law themselves. And so I would say a good place to start would be Long Island Audit. I think his work is world class. I call him the gold standard of auditors, and he is the peaceful warrior. Now, here's a key thing about auditors. Okay, if you're watching an auditor, if they are being antagonistic in any way, shape, or form, then they're doing it wrong. You don't want to be antagonistic. And Sean Paul Reyes is the best there is because he keeps calm. He knows the law. He follows through on going through the right channels to get bad cops exposed and hopefully being seen for what they are and then paying the price for legally, peacefully paying the price. I do not condone violence of any kind. I do not condone any kind of retaliation whatsoever. So I am not advocating for that or talking about that. I just want to see, you know police get training and have proper de-escalation skills and not let their ego and their fear harm people. If you When you watch these channels, and I'm going to go into, I have 8 in all, and these are very specific. I don't watch any other ones than these 8 here, or at least these are the ones I'm subscribed to. Just these 8. I'm not subscribed to any other ones. So, and then the next one here is Audit the Audit, which he goes through the right and wrong of the police interactions, and he holds the officials accountable. And at the end of the video, he gives a grade to either to the cops, to the perpetrator, and And sometimes you think it's going to go one way, but no, sometimes he'll give the cops an A, like an A plus or an A or whatever, and he'll give the other person an F. And then, but most times, the person will get either an A plus, sometimes an A minus, depending on, and then he'll give these cops an F, and he'll tell you why So audit the audit. And then there's the civil rights lawyer, John H. Bryant. He like Bryant, yeah, John H. Bryant, and he's a civil rights lawyer, and yeah, again, his channel, I love his channel. He's a cigar smoking, banjo playing, you know, advocate for the rights of the people, a strong defender of the Constitution, which officers are they're sworn to uphold the Constitution, or in Canada, the Canadian Charter of Rights. We have rights too that are very, very similar to the Americans. And if you and for the longest time, all I've been seeing on my feed is American audits, American audit. So I had to go and look it up and see if I could find something Canadian. And there's Ontario audit. So that's Canadian, okay? Canadian law. And this guy, he's pretty much doing the same thing, the equivalent of the American Constitution auditors, okay, the A1 auditors, and he's doing pretty much the same thing, but for Canadian law. So, even somebody like me, if I decide I'm on the side of the road and I want to film certain places, that if I'm on public property, you know, I could defend my rights the same way as they are. As long as you know your rights and you can and hold them accountable. You got to hold them accountable. They're there to serve you. They're there to serve the people. So you got to hold your film cops, film police officers in the course of their duties. Keep them honest. And all cops should have body cameras. They should have body cams because it keeps them honest, keeps them safe, and keeps keeps even the criminals safe. Even though you are a criminal, whether the United States or Canada, whether you broke the law or not, you still have rights, and your rights still need to be upheld, criminal or not. So yeah, Ontario audit. So that's a Canadian one that I like. And then there's a CT3. This is not as important, but it's still kind of a fun one that I like watching. Then there's a Chuck Bronson, who has what he call a bait car. He'll go and he's 100% obeying the law. He's not breaking any law. He'll go and park in public places where, there's no law against him parking there. But cops still come over and they want to, then they'll try to use the line, you got to call, we got a call of some suspicious activities, and they'll try to make things up, like we were seen looking into cars with a flashlight and blah blah blah, and yeah, and so Chuck Bronson, I think he named his channel after Charles Bronson, but that could be his actual name. I'm not sure, but yeah, his bait car stuff it's so good, so good. Seeing cops getting owned, bad cops, good cops, and all these channels, when there are good cops, especially Long Island Audit, when there are good cops, he gives them recommendations. He gives them credit. He says that guy is a good cop. He's an example of how all cops be. He goes and does training. He went and all across the country, all across America. He goes and does training to certain police stations and police forces to how to de-escalate, teaching them how to de-escalate the situation, and to and to treat people with respect and consideration. And then there's also We the People University. Again, another channel, kind of similar in some ways to the civil rights lawyer, but the civil rights lawyer, he's bad. He's bad A. You know what I mean. So, and then there's Here's the Deal, which I think is entertaining, and some of these is just a little bit more for entertainment, but it's just, I don't know. It Okay. What it leaves me with a sense of, okay, is that is that it's going to make some real change. That eventually people are going to get tired of seeing all this, and it's been going on for at least probably ever since YouTube started. That where now we have the ability to film the police, film government officials, to keep them accountable, to keep them, in line with what they've sworn an oath. They've sworn an oath to uphold. So, I love seeing people, you know, challenging that, and showing them for who they are. Sometimes you're watching it and you're getting all enraged. You're looking at that a hole of a cop that he's being a tyrant, and you're like getting enraged. It's like, look at that guy. Look at his face. You can tell he's all he's all uptight, and want to screw you over. And then I love seeing the little guy, the average your average person, standing up to them, and showing them what's what, and saying, call your supervisor. One of my favorite artists I had ever seen was just recently. I was on the CT3 channel, where this cop was coming and trying to put his trying to assert his authority. And so the bystander, who was of course filming, on the sidewalk on public property, he's filming. And then and it came around to constitutional talk, and the guy asks the cop, he goes, okay, what's the Fourth Amendment? What's the fourth? And he didn't know what it was. He goes, well, what's the First Amendment? What's the five? What was it? The five freedoms of the first of? What's the five freedoms of the First Amendment? And he didn't know what they were. And he was so shamed. He was so ashamed. The look on the cop's face, and the guy was berating him, saying, "Oh, you don't talk to me until you know what the Constitution is. You should be shamed that you don't know the Constitution. You're like, what's wrong with you? Go in, and go and learn the Constitution, and don't talk to me until you know the Constitution." Yeah, if I could, I like to leave links to some of those videos. Yeah, I should leave you some links. But I'm telling you, just go and start watching some of these. If you love humanity, and it actually gives me, like I was saying at the beginning, it gives me some. I feel optimistic about it, because I think it's showing. I think it's going to make some real changes, that because they can only get away with it so long, until something happens. We're not going to live in a police state. We're not going to be living under a regime or whatever. I don't want to get too more into detail about it, but you know what I'm talking about. We don't want to be under a dictatorship. We are free citizens. That's what being in North America, whether in Canada or United States, gives us. We have a freedom, and we should express it without being harassed, willy nilly, for whatever reasons they feel like it. So defend yourself, stand up for your rights, learn your rights. if you want to take anything from this, learn your rights, stand up for your rights, because if you don't stand up for your rights, they feel that they can get away with it, because you let them get away with it. They're gonna do it to somebody else, and somebody who does not deserve it is going to get hurt, and it happens all the time, and it should stop. Okay, before I ramble on too much, I'm going to let you guys go, because you know how much I love you all, and please, everybody, you know I love you guys out there. Just be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everybody, have a great day, evening, morning, night, afternoon, wherever you may be. Peace.